Chapter 8. Time goes by quickly for rest of my time left here. It teases me. The clock strikes 1:45 and my heart drops. The wind blows against my long hair as I sit on the bench on the back porch. I watch the people running around, laughing and training. I smile as memories of James and I training flash across my eyes. My favorite being the day I finally beat him in a fight. He whined about it for weeks, so I kept teasing him. Melody, my parents appear from the back door with dad smiles on their faces. I let myself smile as they sit down either side of me. The sun is high as the sky now, but the gray clouds are moving in. It's storm season here, so that means clouds and rain most days. This is my favorite season, the wind bartering against my windows and the thunder cracking in the distance. Going for a run in the pouring rain, Keith it soak through my fur and awaken my senses. "You okay, sweetie?" my father speaks up, disrupting the silence in the air. I think so, I say with a sigh. Everything is changing so fast. "I know, sweetheart," my mom says, giving me a hug. "I felt the same way when I met your father. I was confused." "I know you've told me," I say, trying not to roll my eyes. "Burr, you didn't have any parents or people. You came here to go to school, so you were living with father anyways. I'm moving away. Also, you knew you had a mate, Mom. I have never believed I do. My brain is hurting. It's all too much." My parents look at me in sympathy and I hate it. I hate being the center of attention, of being sympathized. "It'll be fine, Melody," my father says, smiling down at me. "From what I've seen, Jaden is a great fella. He seems to care about you and he's trying really hard for you. But your life is going to be different now. Jaden is going to be different. He's going to be Alpha King as soon as you are mated, and you shall be Luna Queen." Oh crap. Luna Queen. The first to have forgotten about that. Alpha. Luna, a guard, appears on the porch by the door. I instantly get to my feet and my parents follow suite. The king and queen request your presence along with Miss Melody. They are in the main lobby. I look at my mom, who gives me a smile and puts an arm around my shoulder. We head into the academy and follow the guard to the main lobby. I try to take my time and look around the place where I have lived my entire life, but my mom's grip around my shoulder was too tight. We arrive into the lobby in no time at all, and my stomach sinks. The king and queen stand by the opened main door talking while some guards carry their luggage into their few SUVs that are parked outside. I let myself discreetly sniff the air, and to my amazement I do not smell Jaden anywhere. He must have other duties to attend to before we leave. I hate the fact that my mood dampens because he isn't here. The king turns around and gives us a heartwarming smile. The queen looks around and her warm, inviting eyes instantly find mine. My father shakes the king's hand and I allow my ears to tune out as they start chatting until the queen comes out of nowhere. After jumping out of my skin, I smile at the gentle woman standing in front of me. Luna Queen Kate Beaumont is a stunning woman who doesn't look her age at all, with golden yellow hair that is pulled up tightly in a tall bun on which rests her crown. Her figure is small, yet she is the same size as me, if not maybe slightly taller. Melody, she greets me with a warm motherly hug. "It's nice to finally meet you properly. Considering last time I was watching my son chase you out of the ballroom." A deep crimson blush finds my face as we pull out of a hug. The queen laughs at my face and rubs my arm in comfort. "It's fine, don't be embarrassed. When I met my dear old Russell, I was scared out of my mind, so much so that I locked myself in a bathroom for 2 hours. She lets out a hearty laugh that did not stop him from finding me. He ended up breaking the door down. I can't help but allow a giggle to escape my lips as I glance at the king, who is happily chatting with my father. "I'm sorry about the running away bit," I saw awkwardly. I grasp my lip between my lip nervously as I watch the queen's expression carefully for any signs of anger. "Oh, don't worry about it, dear. You seem like a wonderful young lady, and I am happy to admit that I think you are the perfect mate for my son," she says, giving me yet another warm motherly hug. "Thank you, Luna," I say, bowing my head respectfully. I should say that I accept Jaden, but my mind is in a battle at the moment, and I don't know which side is winning yet. "Oh, please, you are to be my daughter." "Call me Kate," she says, giving me a heartwarming smile. "Russell, dear, come meet our new family member." I notice the king politely dismiss himself from my father and walk over to us with a smile. His aurora makes me instantly bow my head. "Oh, no need to bow for me. You are one of us now," the king says, patting my shoulder gently before putting it around his wife. "Can I say it's a pleasure to welcome you in the royal castle. I know many are excited to finally meet Jaden's mate and their future Luna Queen." Thank you, Alpha. It is an honor to be accepted, I say, smiling up at them. My wolf starts moving around my head, signaling that Jaden is close by. My eyes instantly start searching for him on their own while I shake my head and mentally scold myself. Oh, please, just call me Russell. We are family now, I smile and wonder how they have accepted me so quickly. I have only known them for like 10 minutes, and they are already talking about me becoming Luna Queen. Melody, my mom's familiar voice, floats around me, making my mood instantly decrease as it hits me again. I'm leaving. I bow to Russell and Kate before turning around. The tears fill my yes instantly as I see my parents, 3 brothers, Victoria, James, and Jesse. They all give me big smiles and I run to them straight away. They all engulf me into a large group hug. I love you guys so much, I sob into my mom's shoulder. We all love you, Melody, and we're going to miss you so much, my father speaks up as we all pull away from each other. Melody, I hear the king speak up, interrupting the family moment. The cars are all packed. We must leave, I'm afraid. My wife and I are expected at the castle, and we cannot be late. I nod and suck in my tears as I turn back to my family. I hug each one of them and tell them I love them, and I'll miss them. They all start crying, even James and my father. His scent fills my nose and my whole body relaxes instantly, even if part of me wants to punch him for coming into my life and changing everything. Melody, his voice is a soft sigh from behind me, but his close proximity makes my whole body heat up. I turn around slowly and his arms find their way around my waist. I suck in a breath at the alien feeling. I'm sorry, he leans in to whisper in my ear. I didn't mean for this to happen, but you have to understand that I wouldn't be able to cope without you by my side, and I can't leave my kingdom without an heir. I nod slowly at him and smile. My wolf howls in happiness at the sparks flowing from his arms into my waist. On the other hand, there is me, who is still very annoyed. Alpha Jayden, one of the royal guards, interrupts us. The king and queen have set off. They have given orders that you must leave immediately. Thank you, Jacob. Jayden dismisses the guard, then turns to look down at me with sad eyes. I'm sorry, love, but we must set off. I'll let you say your final goodbye. I'll wait in the car. He places a ghostly kiss on my forehead before walking away. I turn back around to find it is only my parents left. Everyone else was gone. They couldn't cope with saying goodbye. They'll wave from the top window, my mom says, crying and giving me a smile. As Dr. Seuss said, I say, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. The car journey seemed to take forever. I was sitting in the front passenger seat while Jaden is driving. His posture is stiff. His eyes every so often would look at me. I stayed completely still with my eyes focused on the road ahead. Although I watched Jaden in my peripheral vision, I literally couldn't keep my eyes off him, and every time I did look at him, questions would pop into my mind. What will our life be like if I accept him? Has he ever been in a relationship before? Who is he really? I move my feet up into the seat and wrap my arms around my knees. I lay my head on my knees and watch the trees flying past us as we speed down the long winding road. Love, don't be angry with me. I can't stand it. Jaden breaks the silence. All his voice does is make me want to climb onto his lap and kiss him. Stupid mate, pull. His hand removes itself from the steering wheel and finds my knee. The sparks immediately ignite as he gives me knee a soft, reassuring squeeze. Please say something. Amor mio, he pleads, but my mind focuses on the fact that big wolves have now surrounded the car and are running alongside us. What's happening? I ask curiously, putting my legs down and sitting up. I hear Jaden let out a long sigh before answering me. It's Border Patrol making sure we're safe until we get further into the royal grounds, he explains while he refocuses on the road. His hand retreats from my knee and I can't help but feel cold without his touch. I think they also just want to get a glimpse of their future Luna Queen. He gives me a stupid smirk and he grabs my hand in his. My hand fits in his perfectly and I smile. Even if I don't want to like it, I do. They are most likely just happy to have their king and queen back, I say before muttering, and their annoying-ass prince. He growls deeply at me and his hand squeezes mine, hard. Don't test me, love, he says through gritted teeth. My wolf does not react well to disrespect. What happened to we are equals, I sneer in annoyance. If he thinks for even a minute that he can control me, then he has another thing coming. I am stubborn and sarcastic, so he better put on his big boy pant or we are going to have problems. He sighs and lets go of my hand. His eyes focus on the road, but I can tell that they are hardened and angry. The big bad alpha prince isn't used to being fought with. Is he, I say with a wicked laugh. My wolf is growling. She is begging for me to stop, but my brain is in control of everything, and right now it is extremely annoyed at Jayden. His snarl echoes around the car, making me freeze in my seat. His foot stomps on the brake, so thank the moon goddess that I had a seatbelt on. Well, until Jayden reaches over and ripping my seatbelt off, then pulling me onto his lap. His claws are sharp against my waist, making me squirm, but I don't move in fear of making him angrier. His eyes are almost pitch black, now signaling his wolf and his anger. You don't get it. Amor mio, he says with a growl in his voice before shaking his head. With a few deep breaths of my scent, his eyes go back to his amazing electric blue eyes. His face lights up with a mischievous smirk. I am an alpha. Tu sei il mio compagno, or in English, you are my mate, Melody. Yes, you are my mate, and yes, you are my equal, but this is new territory to me too. I've never been an equal with another before, so as much as you are scared, so am I okay? He says softly, caressing my cheek. Okay, I'm sorry, I say, trying to shake off how sexy he was speaking in Italian. I wonder why he is talking in Italian. I look over him in our close proximity. His cheekbones are sharp and well cut. Then there is his eyes are intense but glowing in ocean blue. I bite my lip nervously, making his hungry eyes dart to my lips. I let my eyes wander down to his delicious-looking lips. He growls lowly. Can I kiss you? He whispers, leaning in closer. My nerves hit the roof and my heartbeat races as his lips are centimeters away from me. In the heat of the moment I nod, and he slowly places his hands on either side of my face. His lips come in contact with mine gently, and the electricity ignites, making butterflies erupt in my stomach. This is going to be harder than I thought. Chapter 9. His mouth is so warm, the caress of his lips softer than I could have ever imagined. He tasted tentatively with his tongue, and I allow his tongue to slip into my mouth. His hand finds the back of my neck and pulls me in closer. His lips start to get hungrier, making my senses snap. I place my hands on his chest and push him away. His breathing is heavy, alike my own. An ecstatic grin found Jayden's face, making me let out a short laugh. He looks like a kid who just got a big lollipop. A knock on the window makes me jump out of my skin and bang my head on the roof of the car. I let out a pained groan and roll off Jayden's lap onto my own seat. Jayden growls at the man standing outside his car window, then instead of seeing what the man wants, he turns to me. You okay? He says, grabbing my hand in a comforting manner, but my mind is still spinning from our kiss. I am also having a mental battle with myself for allowing him to kiss me. Yes, I think so, I say, rubbing the top of my head before pointing at the man. You should see what he wants, you know. Jayden gives me an annoyed glance, then rolls down the window. I look out the front car window and see wolves scattered everywhere, watching over us. Alpha, you are needed at the palace, the man says, bowing his head. Jayden nods, then the man disappears. He lets out a sigh and presses down on the gas. Sorry, amor mio, we can get back to that later, he says with a flirty wink, making me blush. I turn away from him and try to calm my ravaging heartbeat. Can I ask you something? I say, trying to steer the conversation away from what happened moments ago. Of course, he says, glancing at me before refocusing on the road. I look at his cute frown of concentration and giggle. Well, I was wondering, why do you speak in Italian? I say, leaning my head back against the car seat. Amor mio, I am from Italian heritage. My whole family is Italian-born except my mother, who is American. My Italian accent comes through off and on. Also, we speak Italian in the pack most of the time. He explains. It all makes sense now. We make a final turn out of the forestry and I gasp loudly, making Jayden laugh. He reaches over and grabs my hand, then after placing a kiss on my knuckles, he says, Melody Wilhelm, welcome to your new home, Castello di Luna Crescente, Crescent Moon Castle. Jayden announced proudly while I stare at the castle in front of me. The castle is surrounded by forest for us wolves. Yet one side of the castle, at the back, there is a large cliff drop. The back gardens falls just on the edge, and it is a beautiful view, he explains as we drive through the large castle gates. My mouth hangs open in awe at my new home. The castle looks old but so beautiful and magnificent. It's tall and the light brickwork is amazing. The bright green trees surround the castle, making it stand out brightly. The towers rise above the main part of the castle and touch the clouds. The whole castle looks as though it was taken from a fairy tale. The mountains circle the castle, giving it protection and even more beauty. It's amazing. I breathe out, my eyes not leaving the castle once. Good, I'm glad. Jaden replays happily. I can't wait to show you the inside. His excited tone reminded me much of a little boy making me giggle. I stare at the castle. In complete memorization, we come to a stop outside the large entrance doors. A guard opens my door and bows his head as I hop out of the big black SUV. Jaden uses his wolf speed to rush to my side and growl at the male guard. His arm snakes around my waist and he leads me towards the large grand doors. Stupid protective possessive mate. Until he fully mates me, then I guess I'm going to have to put up with him being possessive. The grand doors swung open just as we were about to walk into it. My mouth once again falls open at the beauty of the inside decor. It looks ancient yet with a modern twist to it. There is a magnificent stairway straight opposite the door and rooms branching off in every direction. I notice on the left side there is a grand double doors, miniature versions of the front main doors. Jaden, Melody, you're here. I hear Kate's soothing voice. I turn my head around to see her small figure walking over to Jaden and I push myself out of Jaden's arms and blush as his mom walks over to me. She gives me a knowing smile as I blush beetroot red. Jaden gives me an annoyed scowl, but instead of grabbing me again, he storms off to talk to a group of guards on the opposite side of the room. I roll my eyes and turn back to Kate, who is now standing in front of me. Wow, that little woman moves fast. Do you like the Castello di Luna Crescente? She says, smiling. She must have seen my face fall at her Italian. Hey, one day I'll teach you some Italian. I mean, you're going to be a queen soon and we all use Italian. I put on a fake smile to hide the nerves and fear swirling inside me. I start feeling dizzy and my heartbeat fastens. Oh no. Where is the bathroom, please? I ask Kate, trying to keep my voice steady. Up the stairs, then third door to your left, Kate replies before giving me a smile, then wandering off and out of the room. I race up the stairs with only one thing on my mind. I'm having a panic attack. I slam open the bathroom door, then lock it once I get in. I sit down on the closed toilet seat, then my chest starts hurting. My heart starts pounding, and it gets difficult to breathe properly. I try to control it, and I try to breathe, but my mind runs wild with thoughts of my future. What am I going to do? I have to speak Italian. What if I don't get it? Will it ruin the pack? Will the pack hate me for it? What about Jaden? Would he reject me if I don't learn it? Would the king and queen disapprove? How will I cope with all this new information? A knock on the door makes me jump, then my head spins and my vision starts getting blurry. Mio amor, Jaden's voice floats into my ears, making my wolf instantly calmer. My breathing gets heavier and my chest constricts so much I wince in pain. Jaden must have heard me because he bursts through the door and speeds to my side. His eyes wander over me, then he rubs my back gently and pulls my closer. Deep breathes. It's all right. In and out. I look up into his ocean blue eyes and breathe in his masculine pine scent. I immediately start calming down. My breathing evens out, my heart rate slows down and my head stops spinning. His arm slowly finds its way around my waist and he hugs me softly. I hug him back, enjoying being able to breathe properly again. What happened, Melody? He whispers in my ear. I snuggle into his chest and breathe in his intoxicatingly amazing smell. I had a panic attack, I say into his chest, making it come out muffled and incomplete. I realize that love, he says, pulling me away from his chest to look down at my face, but why? Because everything is changing so quickly. My head can't keep up. I say, feeling it build up in my chest once again the second I walk into this gigantic castle. You leave me and your mom starts telling me about learning Italian for when I'm queen. Do you realize how frightening that is? The other day I was just a member of the Alpha family and now I'm going to be the Luna Queen. My eyes are burning with I shed tears, but I will not let them fall. I am not weak, but really I am right now. Jaden looks me in the eye and I can see the regret and concern clear in his beautiful eyes. I love his eyes. I'm so sorry, love. I know this is a lot to handle and I promise I won't leave your side again until you wish for me to leave. I understand this is all happening so fast, but I can't bear to be apart from you. He says, putting his head in my neck. I lean against his chest and enjoy this moment of us, without my thoughts of having no mate interrupting. Jaden, I say against his warm muscular chest. He hums in reply, what are the sleeping arrangements? I blush when he looks at my face with a stupid smirk on his own. I try to punch him in the chest, but he grabs my hand and kisses my knuckles. The tingles and electricity flowing from his touch is incredibly and increasing the mate pull. I realize that we will most likely end up mating, but my brain keeps going back to when I thought I had a mate and everybody else had one except me. That was a dark time for me, filled with tears and panic attacks worse than what I just went through. My wolf and I went into depression. I would secretly go months without eating and lock myself in my bedroom for days. "Well, I guess you probably don't want to stay in the same bed as me," he says, taking my hand and gently pulling me out of the bathroom. He walks me down a long corridor to a spiral staircase, but when I look, the staircase went up as far as I can see. This castle is awesome and beautiful, and somehow it's my home too. I pant in exhaustion as I exit the spiral stairs that I now hate. We just climbed 4 stories of stairs and I really was not prepared for it. I bend over, panting heavily, trying to regain my breathing. I glance at Jaden, who is completely fine. He is just staring at me, grinning. I grumble some inappropriate words as I stand up, regaining my normal breathing pattern. He growls at me. "Those words should never come out of such a beautiful mouth," he says, running his thumb over my bottom lip. Ignoring the pull to kiss him, I push him away from me. "I can say what I like. I say, now show me my room, please." My face stays straight, but inside is a fight between my brain, my heart, and my wolf. Also the mate pull, which is getting stronger and harder to ignore. "Of course," he says with a mock bow before taking both my hands and walking in front of me. I laugh as he tries not to trip. His face is frowning in concentration, so I pull him to a stop. He looks at me with an embarrassed smile. I reach up and run my finger over his frowning forehead. He reaches over and cups my face in his large hands. I move my hands to grip his wrists as my eyes focus on his. "Melody," his voice is a whisper as he leans in closer. My beta is calling me. It comes out in an angry growl. Obviously, that isn't what he planned to happen. He drops his hands from my face and I blush. "Why? Do you have to go?" I say, trying to not let the sadness appear in my voice. He grabs my hand and places a gentle kiss on my knuckles. "He needs me to do some paperwork." He smirks at me, "and I have to sort out your Luna files and paperwork." I smile, but my stomach drops. I still don't know how I feel about this. "Okay," I whisper, looking at my feet. Where should I wait until ... darn you get back? I don't know where anything is or even where my room is." Jaden walks back the way we came, a few steps. His eyes are glazed over, signaling that he is talking to someone on MindLink. I watch him carefully as he stands still. His muscles are bulging through his thin white t-shirt, and the one thing I can't get out of my mind is his lips. The lips I kissed not even an hour ago, and now all I want to do is kiss him again. Suddenly, I feel like my body is working without me behind the steering wheel. I find myself in front of him in a second flat. My hand reaches up and touches his cheek, which instantly makes his eyes turn back to their electric blue. He looks down at me, and before he can say anything, I go on my tiptoe and press my lips to his . Chapter 10. At first, he doesn't respond, so I move to pull away, feeling rejected. Then suddenly his hands grip my waist and pull me back. I instinctively wrap my arms around his neck as he kisses me back with so much power I feel like he is going to knock me backwards. His hands are moving under my top now, and I can feel how excited he is getting. My nerves skyrocket, making me push his away quickly. That was getting out of hand. "Get a hold of yourself, Melody." He beams and holds me at arm's length. "I must admit, mio amor, you're an excellent kisser," he says with a wink. I punch his arm, half in anger, half in playfulness. I need some time to myself, to think about what's going on and how to control this. "So when do you have to go?" I ask, moving myself to the other side of the corridor to lean on the wall. The wall is cold, cooling down my heated body. "Now," he sighs, "your personal bodyguards, Tate and Derek, will be here any second now, though, so just wait here and they shall be here the second I'm gone." He starts walking down the corridor in a fast walk. When he gets to the top of the stairs, he turns to me with a pained expression. "Don't do anything stupid or reckless," he says. Finally, with our distance, my thoughts start clearing. I roll my eyes and let out a huff. He disappears down the stairs, and not even 2 seconds later, 2 bulky men appear. I jump in surprise. Werewolf speed always amazes me. Luna, the chorus, and bow at me. I scowl darkly at them, even though my wolf is bouncing with happiness at the respect she is getting for being Luna. "Please refrain from calling me Luna. That is not my name. My name is Melody, so please use it," I say, reaching out to shake both of their hands. "Well, I'm Tate." The tallest of the two speaks up. He has bleach blonde hair and brown hazelnut eyes. He is muscular and looks like he could get as many girls as he liked. Although he is tall, he is not as tall as Jaden. "I'm Derek," the other guy speaks up. He seems a lot more quieter than Tate. Unlike Tate, he has pitch black hair and purplish eyes. From what I can smell, he is mated. So I say, shifting my feet across the wooden floor, "What shall we do now?" "We were instructed to keep an eye on you wherever you go," Derek says, making me growl mentally. Honestly, Jaden actually thinks I'm going to be followed everywhere 24/7. If I should believe Jaden to be my mate and give my heart and soul to him, I will not become the stereotypical mate. I am not weak, so I do not need to be followed everywhere. He can go put his head down the toilet if he thinks I'm going through with this. And if he thinks that I'm not going to be reckless, well, he should have thought about that before ripping me away from my family. Yes, I realized that I say, trying to not let the annoyance in my voice slip through, but what can we do? Instead of standing in this deserted corridor like weirdos. "Well, we could go to the Alpha Prince's game room," Tate smirks, giving me a nudge with his shoulder because I know the Luna, who is the only other person beside the Alpha who is allowed in there, wants to play FIFA. He tries to wink at me. I laugh at his face. This boy cannot wink to save his life. It's coming out as normal blinking and making him look very unattractive. "That sounds like fun," I say, "let's do it." "How the heck are you so good?" Tate groans in annoyance as I get past his goalie and score yet another goal. "Well, living with three brothers opens one's eyes to Xbox games," I laugh, leaning back against the sofa and passing the controller back to Derek, who has come out of his shell in the past hour. I haven't heard from Jaden since he left, but Derek told me he was busier than he thought he would be. Yet while we are apart, I finally get to think clearly, and I've come to my senses. I did not want to come here, but I reluctantly agreed. Then, as soon as we arrive, he leaves me alone most of the afternoon and evening. Yet he's checking up on me every 5 minutes. I'm already losing my mind and patience. However, enjoyed being with Tate and Derek. I found out, in an hour, that Derek has 2 older sisters and has a mate who works as one of the top pack doctors. He has also invited me to have dinner with them once I'm settled. Then there is Tate, who is the typical male wolf, wants his mate badly but won't admit it because he is too cool. He told me he broke up with his long-term girlfriend about a month ago because she found her mate. This made him finally decide to wait for his mate. "Guys," I say, breaking free of my trance. They both him in reply but concentrate on the game. "Has Jaden ever been with someone?" They both freeze instantly. This makes my heart speed up. My nerves skyrocket and I mentally curse this stupid mate bond. "FIFA is boring now," Tate exclaims, turning the Xbox off. "How about we raid the Alpha's kitchen?" As much as I love that idea, I say with a long sigh, "Am I really doing this to myself? Be honest with me about Jaden, please." "He hasn't been with anyone in a serious way, but he is not a virgin," Derek says lightly. "Now let's raid the kitchen." I slowly nod and stand up. So Jaden didn't wait, even though he is all for mates, whereas I was anti-mate, yet I still saved myself for the one I would fall for. I can't control the sadness that washes over me like a wave. My wolf is crying because her mate did not save himself for her, which is what you're supposed to do. I nod to the guys, then follow them to Jaden's private kitchen. It's only for me and him. I found out that on the 4th floor at the very side of the castle is mine and Jaden's side. "What do you guys want?" I ask, looking in the giant fridge. The kitchen is all dark wood and marble. It has an island in the middle and 2 full fridges. "I don't mind as long as it's awesome," Tate says, fist bumping the air. I laugh and grab the ingredients for the only things I know how to make, pancakes. After I grab the ingredients from the fridge, I get a bowl and mix them together. Tate and Derek sit quietly watching me. "Jaden will be back soon," Derek breaks the silence. I look at him and nod slowly. I thought I'd have more time to think without him messing with my mind. I glance at the clock hanging from the wall. It's just gone 10 p.m. I don't reply to Derek, not knowing what to say. The atmosphere quickly becomes silent and tense. "Does the whole pack know about me?" I ask, flipping the second pancake onto a plate. I turn back and pour more mixture into the pan. I can feel Derek and Tate's eyes on me, but I keep my back to them. "Well, yes, basically the whole pack know that Jaden has found his mate. But apart from the wolves on the territory line and some people in the castle, nobody knows your identity," Tate says, leaning back in the island chair he is occupying. "Oh, right. Okay," I say with a nod. I finish up with the pancakes quickly and give them to the boys. They eat them all in minutes. I let out a long, unattractive laugh at their piggish eating style. "Aren't you having any?" Derek asks, pushing his empty plate away from him. Tate burbs loudly and pushes the plate towards me. "No," I shake my hand, grabbing the 2 plates and putting them in the sink. "I'm not hungry." "I think you should eat." Melody, Tate says, looking serious for the first time since I met him. "You haven't eaten all day, and Jaden will have our heads if he knew that." "I'm fine, thanks for your concern though. Plus Jaden doesn't need to know." I shrug. "Truth is, I didn't even realize that I haven't eaten all day." "What doesn't Jaden need to know?" I freeze in my spot as his scent fills me up and his questioning voice startles me. I turn around to see him standing threateningly in the doorway of the kitchen. His cold eyes are starting daggers at the 2 men who have been my company for the past few hours. "Jaden doesn't need to know anything because it's rude to listen to a conversation you're not involved in," I say in annoyance while glaring at him. He glances at me for a second before turning back to the guys. "You may leave." I roll my eyes and turn to the sink. I wash the plates slowly as I hear the heavy footprints of the guys running out of the room. Arms wrap around my waist, startling me. Jaden buries his face into my neck and sighs. His warm breath fans my sweet spot and I have to bite back a moan. "What's wrong?" he whispers sweetly. It's so strange how his personality changes from when he is alpha to when he is with me. "I'm tired," I say. I turn around in his hold and look up at him. "Can you just tell me where my room is so I can sleep?" Of course, it's 3 doors down, right at the end of the corridor. "You're right opposite my room as well, in case you need me," he says, resting his forehead against mine instead of in the crook of my neck. "Okay, thanks," I say, holding back a yawn. The exhaustion washes over me, making me crave a nice warm bed. "Oh, also, I have good news," Jaden says excitedly. "I filled out all your Luna Queen paperwork, and my parents are arranging the party to introduce you to everyone." I stare at him with my mouth hanging open. Is he serious? I only just got here. I was forced to come here as well, and now he wants me to meet the pack. And he's done my Luna Queen paperwork when we haven't even made it yet. Anger quickly replaces my shock. I shove his chest hard, making him stumble away from me. He growls in annoyance, so I growl back even louder. "What the heck are you thinking?" I scream. "I only arrived here hours ago, and not by my own choosing either. You disappeared, leaving me in a strange place with people I had never met before. Then you come back and saying I'm meeting the pack and you filled my Luna paperwork. You never asked me about this. You never asked if I was okay with this. No, you only care about yourself, Jaden. That's why you stole me away from my home only to leave me alone to do work." I storm out of the kitchen and find my room in seconds using my wolf speed. I slam the door as loud as I can before locking it to make sure he can't get it. Not even a second after I twist the lock, Jaden is outside the door knocking. "Love, I'm sorry, okay? Please let me in. Let's talk about this." "I'm sorry, you don't have to do anything you don't want to. I promise," he says gently through the door. I lean against the wall and slide to the floor. A traitor tear falls down my cheek and onto the floor. I don't want to be here. Chapter 11. 4 hours later. I wake up in a cold sweat. My heart is racing and my head is pounding. I clutch my head as my mind swirls at the nightmare that I just witnessed. I can't even remember it now I have awakened, but all I know is it was scary and the fresh tears of my face can prove that. Thunder bangs making me jump. I look out the window and see the rain bartering against the window. The darkness outside makes the lightning brighten up the room. I love storm season. I run my hands down my face and try to remember the dream, but it was irretrievable. My wolf cries out for the comfort of her mate in our alarmed state. I glance towards the door and can hear his heartbeat coming from the room across the hall. Should I go over there? Another crack of thunder bursts from outside. I instantly jump from my bed. I pad my way out of my bedroom and find myself at Jaden's door. Do I knock? My confusion spirals in my mind. I lift my hand to knock, then stop. What if he is asleep? I haven't even spoken to him since locking myself in my room last night. I finally decide to just sneak in. It'll save me from having to explain my lost nightmare. I turn the doorknob silently and push it open. I glance in and see Jaden fast asleep on his bed. He looks so peaceful. His hair is disheveled and his mouth is slightly open. My eyes can't help but notice that he is shirtless and the thin comforter has fallen to his waist. Ignoring my wolf's begs to join him, I make my way to the sofa in the corner of the room after shutting the door quietly. I love the two cushions to one side and lay my head on them. I don't have a blanket, so instead I curl into a ball. I close my eyes and breathe in Jaden's scent. Just as I feel myself surrendering to sleep, a very sleepy husky voice wakes me up. Melody, he asks in confusion as he sits up, then turns on the lamp next to his bed. I wince at the brightness. Another crack of lightning brightens the room, illuminating his gorgeous abs and face. I sigh and slowly sit up. "What are you doing?" he asks. One second he is on his bed and the next he is crouching in front of me. Is something wrong? I look into his sleepy ocean eyes, trying to figure out how I'm already harboring feelings for him. His hand reaches up and rests on my cheek. "Melody, please answer," he begs with worry evident in his voice now. I got scared, I whisper, although I know it made no difference to whether he would hear me or not. "What scared you, love?" he asks, moving impossibly close. I grip his hand in mine, feeling the need for his comfort. I can't remember, I stutter, trying to figure out what frightened me so deeply. Then again, I've always been a person with many hidden fears. It's most likely to do with the fact that Jayden wants me to meet thousands of people as future Luna Queen. That frightens me a lot. "Come on, you can sleep in my bed," he says. "I'll take the sofa." I hesitantly nod. He pulls me up from my spot in the couch and pulls me over to the bed. I lay down, then he throws the comfort over my body. He leans down and places a chaste kiss on my forehead. I watch him walk to his closet and grab an extra blanket. Then he lays down on the sofa, which surprisingly was big enough for him. "Jaden," I whisper into the silent darkness. I hear his hum and reply, "Thank you." "Anything for you, my love." "Always," he says, and not long after I hear his labored breathing. I curl up into his blanket. His scent fills me up and somnolence soon finds me. It's been 4 days since I crept into Jaden's room, and he hasn't allowed me to return to my own bed in case I have another nightmare, yet my nightmare still eludes me. Jaden and I have been growing closer, making it impossible to give him the silent treatment. My wolf begs every day to mate with him, but I'm still not sure. Every day I'm with Jaden, he asks when or if I'll ever be ready. So far I've done a good job of changing the subject, but Jaden's annoyance is growing each day. I lay on his bed in a pair of joggers and a hoodie I stole from Jaden. I don't have any clothes here yet, so I have to keep borrowing from female pack members. I try to avoid it by wearing Jaden's clothes, yet I know that he doesn't mind in the slightest. The rain outside is battering against the window, has been since the early hours of the morning. The room is still in darkness as it is still the early hours of the morning. Jaden sleeps peacefully on the sofa opposite the bed. His bare chest shines in the moonlight as the comforter is down below his waist. His face is peaceful and his mouth is slightly open as he breathes gently. I watch him silently, thinking about how he is my mate, and one day, if I am ever ready, he will be sleeping beside me as my king and my official marked mate. I close my eyes and take a deep breath. I allow somnolence to try and find me, but instead hunger creeps up on me. I sigh in defeat, then throw the blanket off my heated body. I quietly tiptoe out of the room and down the hall to Jaden's private kitchen. I open the fridge and glance through it, allowing the ideas of different meals I could make. "Where is the bread?" I whisper to myself, wanting to fulfill the craving for a chicken sandwich. I rummage through the fridge. The light in the fridge is the only light provided in the dark kitchen. After failing to find any in Jaden's overloaded fridge, I make my way around the castle to the pack kitchen, where I knew there would be some bread for my sandwich. I feel the need for Jaden in my chest growing the further I get from him. My wolf is begging not to leave his side, but I ignore her. I just need a sandwich. As soon as I get to the kitchen, I turn the light on, then head straight to the fridge. The castle is relatively quiet, except for a few guards chatting nearby. I grab the bread, chicken, and lettuce from the giant fridge. Finally, I keep quiet as I butter the bread and start piling on the chicken. Before I can put the last piece of bread on top to complete my sandwich, a hand grabs my waist. By the itching feeling it creates, I know it isn't Jaden. Panic builds in my chest as the hand spins me around. Before I can hit the person, they grab my hands and pin them behind my back. I look up and see a man. He is tall and muscular, but his eyes have mischievous and dangerous glint to them. I try to speak, but he is speedy to interrupt me. Now, Who have we here? He taunts a new female in the pack. Well, well, well. Maybe I should show you how I welcome new females. His hand slides up my top and cups my breast. My wolf is snarling angrily in my head, and all I want is Jaden. I open my mouth to scream, but instead the man puts a hand over my mouth. He has put my hands behind my back and pushed me against the counter so they are immobilized. I wince in pain as the sharp counter edge digs into my wrist. Now, we don't want to scream unless you're screaming my name, he says next to my ear, then he places a kiss on my neck. I squirm and the tears are falling from my face. My skin is burning at his touch, and the fear is strong on my stomach, making me want to throw up. His hand moves to cup my breast fully, and the tears are now gushing onto the ground. What do I do? His hand that covers my mouth moves away, so I decide to take the chance to say something. I start, but he stops me once again before I can explain. No more talking, he says, leaning in closer to my lips. I can feel his breath on my face, and it sends a shiver of disgust down my spine. Oh no, he is getting closer. I don't want him near me. I don't want anyone you touching me like this, but Jaden. Oh crap, does that mean I'm accepting Jaden? I whimper as his lips are almost on mine. My eyes have run out of tears and my body has resulted in body shaking sobbing. I try and turn my head away, but his hand grips my chin harshly, holding me in place as his lips are nearly on my lips. Just before they land on my own lips, a terrifying earth-shattering growl shook the entire castle. The guy in front of me whips around as a familiar comforting scent hits my nose. Jaden. I sigh in relief, and then to face him, he stands threateningly in the doorway. His eyes are black and his claws are extending. Even if deep down I know he won't hurt me, I can't help but feel scared. I'm a second he rushes to the guy and throws him across the room. I let out a scream as he hits the wall on the opposite wall. The guy falls to the floor unconscious. I'm guessing Jaden mind links some guards because the next minute 2 guards whiz in and take the guy away. I watch them then slowly turn to Jaden. His pitch black eyes are staring at me. They scan up and down my body, most likely to check if I'm injured. Then he grabs my wrist, which is sore from the sharp counter edge. In a second he picks me up bridal style. The next minute we are in his bedroom. He puts me down and starts pacing the room. The growls emitting from him are low and dangerous. I stand still, not knowing what to do. I let out a small sigh, feeling relieved that nothing too serious happened. I can still feel his touch on my skin, and it makes bile try to come up. I swallow it down and lift my hand to wipe my wet cheeks from crying. Jaden's head snaps towards me, and I can see in his eyes that he has lost control to his wolf. My heart beats faster and I look at him carefully. Suddenly he marches over to me and puts his head in my neck. I don't know what else to do, so I put my arms around his neck and just enjoy having his touch on me. I feel him press a kiss on my soft spot, making a moan rip out of my throat, and my legs turn to jelly. I feel him smirk against my neck. Even though he is out of control, I can't help but feel safe in his arms. I feel a sharp prick against my neck and my stomach instantly flips. He is trying to mark me. Crap. I try to push him off me, but his hands rip my hips tightly. His wolf is too strong. Jaden, before I can continue, his canines puncture deep into my skin. Black dots cloud my vision as I let out a blood-curdling scream. Chapter 12. After a few minutes, which feel like days, Jaden pulls his canines out and licks his newly made mark. He pulls away and looks at me in the eye. The edges of my eyes are still blacked out and the tears have once again started to tumble from my eyes. The blackness in his eyes melts away into his beautiful ocean pools. He looks at me in shock. Then I see regret build up in his eyes. Crap. Melody, I am so sorry, he says just as my legs finally collapse. He catches me instantly and lays me on the bed. I sob into his chest while he rubs my back soothingly. I couldn't control him, Jaden says, sounding surprised and sorrowful. I just saw that guy touching you and trying to kiss you and lost it. I don't reply to him because I don't trust myself right now. I feel like my emotions have turned into a swirling tornado in my mind. All I know is I want Jaden. Now that he has marked me as his, it will be almost impossible to reject our mating bond, although I have started to slowly accept him. After a few more hours of crying and Jaden apologizing, I finally stop my tears. The clock on the bedside table reads 6:58 a.m. I look up at Jaden, who is staring at the opposite wall in deep though. His arms are tightly wrapped around my waist while his fingers draw soothing circles on my hip. I move slightly in his hold, making his eyes move from the wall to me. Seeing that I am not crying, he instantly sits up and looks me in the eye. "How are you feeling?" he asks, still gripping me around the waist, but I don't mind. I just want to be near him for now, and not just because of the mark, but also because I want to get the other guy out of my mind. Only Jaden can provide the comfort and protection I am craving. "I'm okay," I think I say, sheepishly leaning my forehead against the hot skin of his shoulder. My mind is spinning and my neck is still burning. "Do you have to go?" My heart drops as I ask, but my wolf is begging for him to stay by my side after being marked. She is so happy that it's giving me a headache. I smile as Jaden shakes his head. "No, I've asked for the day off to stay with you. Since I marked you last night, the pack understands that I want to be with you," he explains, scratching the back of his neck. Part of me wishes to tell him that I forgive him for marking me and that it will all turn out all right. Yet the other part of me is angry at him for marking me without my consent. Instead, I stay quiet and stay leaning against him. He doesn't seem to mind, as I am now marked. Jaden and I now have a mind link, but we cannot tell each other's emotions until we mate. We can only communicate. "Oh, by the way, your doctor wants a meeting with you and I later on today," Jaden speaks up, slicing through the silence. I frown and lean back to look up at his face. He gives me a soft smile and rubs my back gently, making me want to purr. "My doctor?" I question in confusion. "Yes, the best doctor in the land. I've ordered for him to be your doctor because if anything happens to you, I want you in the best hands going," he says, pecking my lips softly. I mentally awe, then move away to look up at him. He looks at me intensely. He leans down and connects our lips together. Fireworks explode in my stomach as our lips move perfectly against each other. I move to kneel in between his legs and wrap my arms around his neck. His arms snake around my waist and he pulls me impossibly closer. He bites my lips, asking for entrance, which I gladly allow. I eventually start feeling it of breath, and he must have noticed because he pulls away. He leans his forehead against mine as we try to regain our breathing. "So what do you want to do today?" he asks, and I smirk up at him. We ended up spending the whole day drifting in as out of sleep. Well, I slept in between crying and shouting. Jaden stayed by my side silently, rubbing my back and pulling me back into bed. He seemed distant, and it only worsened as I got better. By the end of the day, he wouldn't even touch me. It is now the morning after. Jaden had disappeared from the room, and by his scent he has been gone for a while. I let a sigh escape my mouth and echo around the room. I am still laying in Jaden's bed. Being marked had exhausted me. I rubbed my slightly bruised forearm gently. I woke up from a pain in my forearm, and when I looked down it was bruised. Not just the mark, but the emotional roller coaster that joined it. I spent most of yesterday crying or screaming at Jaden for marking me. A burst of sudden white light broke the darkness in the room. The buzzing drifted into my ears, making them ring slightly at the high volume. I glance at my phone that lays on the floor by the bed. Wait, I thought Jaden had taken my phone. He explained that he didn't want anyone disturbing us or trying to convince me to leave. I quickly reach down and answer it. "Hello," I say, sounding groggy. "When did Jaden leave my phone here?" I sit up and stretch my back, then hear a satisfying click. I sigh in relief. "Hey, sweetie," my mom's sweet voice echoes from the other end of the phone. I instantly stand up in my excitement. This is the first time I've spoken to my mom since leaving home. Mom, and shout in happiness, and can't help but jump up and down. "How are you?" "I'm okay, thanks, sweetie, just missing my little girl." Her voice breaks slightly. My heart sinks as I hear it. "I want my mom." "I'm missing you too, Mom," I say, sitting down on the edge of the bed. Tears threaten to fall, and because of my emotional stare, they start to fall. "How's Jaden treating you?" she asks curiously, and I instantly want to tell her all about him marking me by force, then leaving me. I don't. "It's all good. He is always with me and always helping me out," I say, then take a deep breath. "He marked me yesterday." I hear my mom's voice hitch. The silence down the line is deafening, and I feel my stomach flip with nerves. "Congratulations," she says, regaining her happy tone. "That's great news." "Yeah," I say, bluntly, feeling the pain in my chest at the though. I wish it was great news. "Are you happy there, sweetheart?" Mom says, sounding concerned. I wish to tell the truth, and for once my wolf agrees. My wolf loves our mom and knows we can trust and confide in her. My wolf is feeling the same way I am. Hurt. As our mate forcefully marked us and then left us alone. Yes, of course I say, trying to sound as positive as I can. The castle is huge and everybody is so lovely. Okay, as long as you're happy, then I'm happy, she says in her sweet motherly voice. I instantly just want a hug from her. I hear a short, loud knock on the door and the sadness creeps into my chest once more. I'll have to say goodbye, again. Who knows when I'll be able to talk to my mom again? Jaden may take my phone again. What if I never get to talk to them again? Melody, my mom's voice breaks me from my horrifying thoughts. Oh yes, Mom, I have to go, I say, but I'll call you again soon. Okay, I love you, sweetheart, she says, and more tears fall from my eyes. I love you, Mom. The line went dead. I take a deep breath, throw my phone back on the floor, and wipe the tears from my cheeks. I steadily got up off the bed and opened the door. Tate and Derek stood threatening and tall in the doorway. They look me up and down, them storm into the room. I frown but keep quiet because I don't trust my voice. Sorry, Lou, Melody, we saw you crying and thought someone was in here. Derek apologies and bows his head at me. It's okay, I reply, pulling at the hem of the t-shirt I am wearing that I stole from Jaden. It's the only thing that's comforting me today, considering Jaden isn't here. So why were you crying? Tate asks, sitting on the sofa. Then Derek falls onto the sofa next to him. If I tell you something, do you guys have to tell Jaden? I ask, sitting down on the bed and crossing my legs. I look at the boys as they exchange glances before looking back to me with curiosity written on their faces. That depends, Derek replies. If you tell us something that could harm you or let you leave the castle, then yes. Oh, I sigh. Well, I'll tell you anyway. It's not like I have anyone else to talk to. I was on the phone to my parents. They want me to go home. To visit, at least. Derek and Tate look at each other and frown. They slowly turn their attention back to me and shake their heads. That doesn't seem likely. Jaden had told everyone to make sure you don't leave the castle. He is only letting you out there if you're with him or fully mated with him, Tate says, leaning back casually. I groan and fall back onto the bed. Why did I have to be mated to the Alpha Prince? And a protective, possessive one, too. Just when I was finally getting used to not believing in my mate. Where is Jay? I ask, leaning back on my elbow so I can see them. Tate looks as though he is about to pass out from exhaustion, whereas Derek looks quite awake and calm. He is doing some work with his father, Derek says, but his eyes tell me he isn't quite telling the truth. He will be strung up all day, so you won't see him. Oh, all right, then, I say, standing up now. If you fellas don't mind, I'm going to shower, so get out. Please. They both squirm and leave the room, but not before they've given me a high five. They shut the door, but I can feel their presence on the other side. Oh wait, I'm marked now. I have now got a mind link with Jaden. I open the mind link and try to contact him. Jaden, I say, my voice soft with uncertainty. I can feel him on the other side. My wolf can sense his wolf too. Yes? Is something wrong? Are you okay? He replies instantly. I can hear the worry in his voice. I'm fine. Where are you? I ask. Considering I was only marked yesterday, I still need Jaden, and I'm starting to want him as well as need him. I'm out with my father. I'm busy. Only mind link me if you're hurt or in danger, he says, then disappears. I can't help the pain that hits me in the chest. I hate this. This is why I didn't want a mate and decided I didn't have one. I didn't want this pain. The pain of rejection. The pain of ignoring. The pain of loneliness. I let the tears fall down to their death on the floor while I walk towards bathroom for my much-needed shower. Chapter 13. Time is the master of all. It controls everything. How long we live. How long our food is in the oven. How long we are in love. Time can go by in a flash. Time can drag on forever. Time can corrupt one's very soul. Tick-tock. Tick-tock. Ow. Tick-tock. I stare at the clock, feeling the familiar feeling of anger and annoyance bubbling in the pit of my stomach. I know what I have to do, but I know I'm going to get in big trouble for it. Jaden will be furious and hurt. It's been 3 days since I last saw Jaden. So far, he has been leaving before I wake up and coming home after I've fallen asleep. I'm deeply hurt. My wolf feels rejected, that he doesn't want to be with us, especially after marking us. He has blocked off his mind link completely now. He opens it regularly every so often to check on me. I've reached the limit now. I can't cope with my wolf's constant whining and my constant chest pain. This is exactly what problems come with a mate that I frankly didn't want. I pace the room with my mind reeling over my stupid idea, but I know it'll finally get Jaden's attention. This is crazy. You're going to kill yourself. I groan in annoyance. I have to do this because I can't get hold of him any other way. He has ordered Tate and Derek to stay with me at all times and not allow me to go near him while he is working. I know he isn't, because Tate slipped up the other day and told me he was avoiding me. How was I supposed to try and fix things if he won't let me see him? I'm finally starting to admit to myself of the feelings I harbor for him, but it's hard when all I'm starting to feel is anger towards him. I glance at the open window and step towards it slowly. The gusting breeze bangs the windows against the wall, making me jump. Yet another storm is rolling in, so I better do this before the rain starts. I do not want to get hypothermia. I listen carefully to the activity outside the bathroom door. I hear Tate and Derek's steady heartbeats from the other side of the door. I have to be quiet. I look out the window to see if it is clear, which luckily it is. I carefully climb up onto the window frame and perch. I look down and have to gulp down my fear. It's a 3-story drop from this window to the ground. If I'm lucky, I could land with only minor bruising, but if something goes wrong, I could possibly die. This is for Jaden and I. This is stupid. No, it's not. Just do it. I take a deep breath before letting my body fall off the window frame and into the hair. My heartbeat speeds up dramatically as I fall to the ground at a frightening speed. Within seconds, my feet touch the ground. I cry out in pain as my ankle cracks from the harsh contact. I use the tuck and roll move I was taught in training. I sit there for a second, trying to control the raging pain in my ankle. I glance down and see the bruising already starting. I get up as quickly as I can. I race straight towards the forest. Just as I enter the darkened tree line, I hear Derek's familiar voice shout my name, Melody. I ignore him but mentally smile. I keep running deeper into the woods. I can sense Jaden in my mind but keep him blocked out. They must have told him. I get deep into the forest. I'm close to the border now, so if I go further, the patrol will find me. That is not what I want. I quickly, without thinking, shift into my wolf. I stop and listen carefully. I hear the howls of wolves, most likely signaling that I have disappeared. I pant heavily. I freeze as an unknown sound bounces off the trees around me. It's the sound of a bear. My ears are up and I lift my head as high as I can and look around. My eyes scan my surroundings slowly as another sound reaches my ears, a wild boar. Then, another and another. I let myself growl lowly and crouch down, readying myself. Instead of something coming from where the sounds are, I hear Jaden's orders from close by. I start running towards the right instead, ignoring the random sounds I just heard. I must keep up with the plan. The pain in my ankle is becoming almost bearable. Suddenly, the ground shakes beneath my feet as a loud, frightening growl bounces off the trees. Jaden. He's angry. I can sense it. He is completely raging. My wolf is yapping happily, and the thought of finally seeing her mate. 10. I sense his wolf getting closer, making my heart thump in my chest. 9. Will he be really angry? Will he hurt me? What if he decides to punish me? 8. What if I can't fix this now? 7. Have I messed this whole thing up? 6. Will he reject me for disobeying him? 5. His footsteps are getting closer and I can hear his angry growls. 4. My ears prick up as I hear the twigs snapping under my feet. The pain in my ankle is forgotten as my worry about Jaden takes over. 3. He is slowly breaking down the wall in my mind. 2. I'm starting to feel weak and I'm giving in. 1. His wolf comes into view and I see the anger and hurt in his pitch-black eyes. I want the blue ocean pools back now. 0. He gets ahead of me and jumps in front of me. I force myself to halt, being I still crashed into him. Unlike me, he kept his foot in and stood tall in front of me. I wince as I feel my ankle starting to throb at the sudden pressure of halting. His face morphs into one of worry, but it passes and the anger continues. He breaks through the wall I put up in my head, and the growl that comes through is frightening, making my head spin. Shift now, Melody, he snarls angrily through our mind link. I bow my head but don't shift. He steps forward threateningly. A man appears out of nowhere and chucks some short and a t-shirt at Jaden, who catches them in his jaw easily. I watch as the man nods at me before racing off once again. He shifts in front of me. I turn my head away, feeling the usual shyness overcome me. He pulls on the shorts and throws the t-shirt at me. I look at the shirt, then up at him. He crosses his arms, making his muscles bulge, but makes no attempt to move. I quickly shift and pull on the shirt. I stand up straight and looks at him. His eyes are still black, but they look even angrier now, if that's even possible. Without talking, he grabs me, then picks me up, one of his hands behind my knees and the other strongly wrapped against my back. I sit in his arms silently, avoiding his gaze and those of strangers. I'm guessing that he told most that I escaped, so the heat rises up my neck. Jaden is using his alpha wolf speed, so everything becomes blurred. I know where he is going, though. His bedroom. The Alpha Prince's quarters. Alpha Prince. Those two words still make my head spin, because I'm mated to him. I look up to see his sharp chin, which is covered in stubble. I want to reach up and touch him, just to feel the comfort and sparks that come with his touch, to know we are mates. It keeps me sane. My brain is still trying to persuade me I don't have a mate, and it makes my mind a whirlwind. I'm sick of it. I think I am ready to accept him. What harm can that do? I'll finally have a mate, someone who will love me, someone who will protect me. Sooner than I realize, we are in his bedroom, and he throws me rather roughly onto his bed. He stands at the foot of the bed, breathing extremely heavily. His eyes are switching between black and the blue I love so much. I slowly get off my back and turn, so I kneel in front of him. His eyes follow my every movement. Jaden, I start, but he cuts my off by roughly pushing forward and putting his lips against mine. I could tell he wanted dominance, so I gave it to him. The kiss was rough and deep. His tongue easily slips into my mouth and my hands find their way into his hair. His arms snake around my waist and he hoists me up slightly. He pulls away and I breathe deeply, trying to control myself. He rests his head against mine, then, after a few peaceful seconds, he sighs loudly. You ran, he states painfully. His arms leave my waist and he steps away from me. He takes all positivity with him, because all I feel is nervous and scared. Jaden's eyes go darker as he glares at me. I shut my mouth instantly and look down at my lap. You ran from me, he states again, but this time with anger. You ran from your own mate. Why, Melody, why? Have I not done enough for you? I try to speak, but I feel as though there is a plug on my throat, stopping the words from escaping. I hear him step closer and my head tilts up to him. Speak, he demands. I ran, I say. The shock on his face is evident as he steps away from me. But not for the reasons you believe. He regains his composure and looks me straight in the eye. Why did you run then, Melody? Because I run out of words, because it finally hits me. Even though my plan worked, it was a stupid plan. Because what he shouts this time, I flinch back in surprise. Suddenly, I feel something in my stomach. It's burning, and I know it's anger. He has finally gotten me angry. Because you left me, I shout, standing up off the bed, because you were a coward who ran away the moment things got serious. You marked me without consent, may I add, then left. He isn't trying to hide his shock now. It's clear in his face. He looks at me before stepping forward. Melody, No, Jaden. Don't make any excuses. I don't want excuses. I don't want you to leave me. I want you with me, the anger cooks, and I look up at his concentrating face. I cut him off again. Jaden, I forgave you for marking me days ago, but you have avoided me. I've slept in your bed, not mine, because I thought that would mean something to you, but it didn't. So I ran to get your attention. Because Jaden, I accept you as my mate. I say. Jaden's face morphs from anger to surprise to absolute glee. His lips tug up into a grin, and he comes over to me. In seconds, he places his lips on mine again, but this time the kiss is soft and slow. He pushes me back, slowly making me fall onto the bed with him on top. He keeps the kiss going, but I can feel myself getting breathless. I pull away slowly. He places kisses down my neck before surprising me with an open-mouth kiss on my mark. A moan rips out of my throat and I feel my stomach flip at the sensation racing through my body. "Melody," he says. I can hear the smirk in his voice, my queen. Chapter 14. Bliss. Absolute bliss. That's what I'm feeling. In the arms of my over-the-moon mate after finally accepting him. The wave of ecstatic happiness rolls of Jaden as he curls me deep into him. He is staring down at me while playing with a strand of my hair. I wonder what's going through his head at this very moment. I know that in my head I have thoughts of our future. I can't help them following through my brain. I know he's happy, but does he have any doubts? I know this is the outcome he has wanted. I am glad I have given him that, but I'm still not 100% with everything. I'm not ready for everything. Is still a lot to handle. Luna Queen. Mating. Pups. A whole pack. A mate to care for and care for me. Jaden, I break the relaxing silence that had wrapped around us, as if we were in a bubble. I wriggle my body so I lay on my side against him. He moves his head slightly, so he is looking into my eyes. His hand comes back up to stroke another strand of hair away from my face. He hums in reply as he moves his hand to intertwine mine in his. I know I've accepted you. His smile grows impossibly bigger, but I'm not completely comfortable with the whole Queen Luna thing. I don't think I'm ready for all that yet. Or mating. I hold my breath as I wait for his reply, but instead of getting upset or angry, he grins at me and pecks my lips softly. I enjoy the electric jolt that bursts from his lips. I understand completely, love, he says, caressing my cheek before placing a kiss on the soft kiss. It's a lot to take on, but don't worry about it too much. My mom will teach you everything. I smile and lift my head up to brush my lips against his. He squeezes my waist and moves us so we are sitting up. Can we go for a run? I ask, thinking of the fresh air and the impossible clear sky outside. The storm season has finally decided to take its break from tormenting us. Love, you've already been on a run, he says, raising his eyebrow up at me. I look up and sheepishly smile at him, remembering I had run away not even an hour ago. I really want to go out, plus this time you can come along, I say, standing up and making my way to the door. My hand grips the cold doorknob, but before I can open it, Jaden is in front of me. How do I know you won't run again? He asks, his face pulled into a serious frown, one I often see him wear whilst dealing with business in the pack. I promise, I say, holding up my pinky finger. Since this morning my mood has skyrocketed dramatically. I feel like singing and dancing around the room. I feel the adrenaline pumping through my veins. He grins and wraps his larger pinky around mine. Fine, but stay with me, he adds, giving me a serious look. I nod frantically and leap out the door, pulling him along. It doesn't take us long to get outside, even after saying hello to a few pack members. The breeze has turned cold and clouds have once again started to set over the sun. Damn. I look at Jaden with sad eyes as I glance back up at the darkening sky. He tilts his head up, then turns back to me. It's fine, love. We'll make it a quiet run. Okay, I say happily and quickly, without thinking, shift into my wolf, ripping all my clothes in the process. Jaden follows suit and barks at me. We both run towards the forest. Jaden, being an alpha, is faster, but I can tell he is slowing down so I can keep up. I breath deeply, trying to push myself harder. Running has always been my hobby and I always try to improve. Suddenly, Jaden stops right in front of me. I quickly try to stop but end up ducking, so I slide underneath him. He growls and jumps on top of me. Stay down, he mind-links me. There's a breach at the border a mile ahead. I'm going to check it out. Stay here and don't move. Okay, I say, settling myself on my stomach as he hovers on top of me. Go, I'll be fine. He nods stiffly before racing off, and within seconds he is gone, out of sight. I let ours a long sigh as I lay there with my head resting on my paws. The woods is quiet, quieter than normal. I lift my head and scan the surrounding area. The wind has started to pick up, and some leaves fall off a nearby tree. This part of the woods is deserted. It's just me here as far as I know. Then I hear a twig snap a few meters ahead of me behind a bush. I stay low and listen again. Another twig snaps. I slowly crawl towards the bush, trying to be as silent as possible. I hear a small squeak and ready myself to pounce. I leap behind the bush to capture whatever was behind it, but to my surprise I only find an immense pain ricocheting up my back leg. I howl in pain and quickly, on instinct, try to lift my leg up, but I can't. It's stuck. I glance back at my back right leg to find it trapped in a bear trap. The spikes are digging deep into my blood-covered ankle. The scent of blood is hitting me hard, and it's becoming a challenge to stay in my wolf form. I know if I shift, the pain will worsen as my bones shift. I cry out in torture as I try to pry the trap of my foot with my front paw. I look at my ankle and stop. I stand, staring at the bloodied, broken skin of my ankle as the sharp spikes dig deep into my flesh. Tears are falling from my eyes, but I don't stop them. It hurts too much to concentrate on anything else. No. I growl at myself. I'm giving up too easy. I'm not thinking about ways out, I'm only thinking out ways in. I just need to figure out how to escape from the impaled spikes. Thinking logically. What is the worst that could happen? 1. I could faint from loss of blood and could end up dying. 2. I could rip my ankle out and suffer the consequences, which could include losing my entire ankle. 3. I could try to use my heightened strength to pry the teeth of the trap out of my ankle, but this risks more injuries. 4. Unlikely I could stay here and wait for a guard to pass or smell me, or for Jaden to come back, but the risk is that because I'm so close to the border that a rogue could find me instead. Jaden, help, I call out. I know it's a low chance of him getting here soon, but I had to have a backup in case I faint from blood loss. I'll try and use my wolf strength to get it off. Melody, Jaden shouts back worriedly, but I can't reply. The pain is shooting through my like a million knives. I quickly grip onto the two sides and let the power in my arms try to pull the teeth away, but it was no use. I tried again, and again, and again. I cry out in frustration and pain as I failed once again to release my foot from the agonizingly painful trap. I can feel my head spin and I'm starting to feel weak. The effect of this blood loss is kicking in. I start but don't get to finish because a gigantic black wolf jumps out from the bush in front of me. Jaden. His eyes are black as he stares at me in the eyes. A low, pained whine escapes my snout as he steps closer. I watch as Jaden's eyes slowly move from my eyes down to my trapped back leg. He snarls angrily and almost instantly shifts into his human form. He grabs a pair of trousers from his ankle and throws them on. He takes the t-shirt off his ankle but throws it near me. I watch carefully as he kneels down next to my back leg. Suddenly a few men show up around us and instantly bow at us. Melody, stay still, Jaden commands as he turns to look at me. We're going to get it off you, but it's going to hurt. Just get it over with, I say, nodding as I lay on the damp ground waiting for sleep. This entire charade has exhausted me. I feel my eyes dropping and my head starts to feel lighter. Someone grips my shoulders and shakes me awake. I reply with an angry growl. I look up to see a woman holding my head. Stay awake, Luna. You must stay awake, she says, making me huff. Obviously the one thing I want I can't get. I watch as another woman comes running over with a first aid bag and she kneels by my ankle. I watch in curiosity as she takes out a needle from the bag. I snarl and start to stand up. A sharp pain shoots up my leg, making me howl in pain. Jaden is quick to come up to my head and push me back down. Don't move, love. You'll only cause yourself more pain, he says, holding my head in his hands. It's just an injection to numb the area. Soon enough, just as Jaden said, the area around my ankle is completely numb, although there was still some pain, but I didn't want to sound weak. I lay silently with my head rested on the woman's lap as Jaden and a few other men, guided by whom I think is a nurse, surrounds my ankle. All of their hands are on the trap as they count down. This is gonna hurt. The nurse shouts now and I scream in agony as the teeth eject from my flesh. I grit my teeth together as the sibs escape my mouth. I feel my whole body weak drastically, and seconds later my body is shifting to my human form. Jaden rushes to my side, throws a t-shirt over my naked body and picks me up carefully. Then everything blurs as he runs. He is so fast. I have noticed that he is more powerful. It scares me but excites me at the same time. I look up with blurry, tear-filled eyes at his worried face. This man will be the father of my children. This man will be my mate. This man will be with me forever. This man will protect me and love me. This man is to be my king and the first AM to be his queen. I start to hear voices, then a building comes into sight, the infirmary. I lean my head against Jaden's chest and listen to his fast heartbeat. It's calming. I can feel his muscles through the thin material between his chest and me. I hear his voice shouting orders, but the words are jumbled and don't make sense. Soon he is laying me in a bed. I want to stay in his arms, but I'm too tired to keep hold of him. I want to sleep. As soon as his arms have left me, doctors and nurses surround me, blocking my view of Jaden. I cough out as my voice suddenly turns dry and hoarse. My eyes are closing as exhaustion finally starts to wrap its arms around me. He comes into sight just in time before my whole vision turns dark and I fall into unconsciousness.